Most students get this wrong when planning to study abroad. They focus on the university first, and only think about money at the last moment. Here's the truth no one tells you. Your financing strategy can decide whether you study abroad smoothly, or struggle with stress, delays, and even visa rejection. In this video, you'll learn all the major student loan options for studying abroad in 2026, how each one works, and how to choose the best option based on your situation. By the end, you'll know exactly how to fund your education without making costly mistakes. Let's start immediately with the most important thing. There are two main types of student loans for studying abroad: secured loans and unsecured loans. Simple. But here's the problem. Most students don't understand the difference. This is where many people fail. They choose the wrong loan type and regret it later. Now let's break it down. A secured loan means you provide collateral. This could be property, fixed deposits, or other assets. Let's say Alex's family has a house. He uses it as collateral and gets a loan. Now here's the key advantage. Secured loans usually have lower interest rates. But here's the catch. If you fail to repay, the bank can take the collateral. Now let's move to unsecured loans. These loans don't require collateral. Sounds great, right? But here's the problem. They come with higher interest rates. Let's say Jake doesn't have assets. He applies for an unsecured loan. Now here's where it gets interesting. Approval depends on factors like income, credit score, and co-applicant strength. Now let's talk about who gives these loans. First, public sector banks. These are government-backed banks. Now here's the key point. They offer lower interest rates for secured loans. But here's the problem. The process can be slow and strict. Now, let's move to private banks. These banks offer faster processing. Now here's where it gets interesting. They are more flexible, but may charge higher interest rates. Now let's move to NBFCs. These are non-banking financial companies. Now here's the key advantage. They offer unsecured loans more easily. But here's the catch. Interest rates can be higher than banks. Now let's move to international lenders. Some companies specialize in loans for studying abroad. Now here's where it gets interesting. They often don't require collateral. But approval depends on the university and course. Now here's the problem. Not all universities are accepted. Now let's talk about loan coverage. What does a student loan actually cover? Tuition, fees, living expenses, travel costs, insurance. Now here's the key point. Different lenders cover different expenses. This is where most people fail. They assume everything is covered. Now let's talk about interest rates. Interest rates vary based on the lender and loan type. Now here's where it gets interesting. Even a small difference in interest rate can save or cost you a lot over time. Now let's talk about repayment. Most loans offer a moratorium period. This means you start repaying after completing your studies. Now here's the key point. Some loans require interest payments during study. Now here's the problem. Many students don't plan for this. Now let's talk about co-applicants. A co-applicant is usually a parent or guardian. Now here's where it gets interesting. A strong co-applicant can improve your chances of approval. Now let's take a quick example. John applies for a loan with a strong co-applicant. He gets better terms. Jake applies without one. He faces difficulties. Now let's talk about eligibility. Each lender has different requirements. But generally, you need admission to a recognized university. Now here's the problem. Not all courses qualify. This is where research becomes important. Now let's talk about documents. You need academic records, admission letter, financial documents, identity proof. Now here's where most people fail. They delay document preparation. Now let's talk about timelines. Loan processing can take weeks. Now, here's the key point. Apply early to avoid last-minute stress. Now, let's talk about scholarships. Loans are not your only option. Now here's where it gets interesting. Scholarships can reduce your loan burden. Now let's talk about part-time work. Many countries allow students to work part-time. Now here's the key point. This can help cover living expenses. But here's the problem. Don't rely completely on part-time income. Now let's talk about currency risk. If you take a loan in one currency and earn in another, exchange rates matter. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Currency fluctuations can affect repayment. Now, let's talk about choosing the right loan. First, compare interest rates. Second, check repayment terms. Third, understand hidden charges. Now, here's the problem. Many students ignore hidden fees. Now, let's talk about common mistakes. Applying late. Not comparing options. Ignoring repayment terms. Over-borrowing. These mistakes can create long-term problems. Now here's a smart tip. Borrow only what you need. Now let's talk about financial planning. Calculate your total cost. Estimate your future income. Now here's where it gets interesting. Planning ahead reduces stress later. Now let's quickly summarize everything. Understand the difference between secured and unsecured loans. Choose the right lender. Check coverage and interest rates. Plan repayment. Avoid common mistakes. If you follow this approach, you can fund your education abroad confidently. Now, you're not confused anymore. You know your options and how to choose the best one. If this video helped you, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want help choosing the right loan, drop a comment below. I'll guide you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.